Hello. Welcome back. Let me make sure I'm on.
We're on.
Made that mistake before. Yep, audio's
Been
up.
there.
Welcome back to the Noise Below. We are here, Tuesday night hanging, as always. I'm Jeremy. I got Brad and Joe in the house. And,
What's up? What's up?
We're back with another fine episode. I don't know if anyone joined us on Saturday. We did a longish one on Saturday afternoon, all about drums, drum tuning, drum rehab. I bought a drum set, so me and Nick Larson, our good buddy, went through it and got it all ready to rip, and it's awesome. I used it the other day. Super excited about it.
It was a fun one.
Just making some stuff active. Pro Tools is spinning. There we go. Yeah, so we are going to talk about a band called Fuzzrd tonight. And we will get into them shortly. You just heard the instrumental. This is the first single off the new record. What's interesting about this record is we're not done with it yet. We're about maybe, 60, 70% done. We got all the drums done. But we got a lot of work to do on the other songs. But, with the way records are released these days, you kind of get a single going and you kind of start promoting the record sometimes before the record's even finished, which is pretty cool. So we got this one done first. This is the first single. They've been, it's been pretty, I got to say, very impressive. They have kind of launched a band in the middle of a pandemic where that's pretty hard to do, I think.
It's hard to do anytime.
It's hard to do anytime, right. But they've got, they can't go play any shows. The record's not finished yet, but they are working their asses off and getting their social media thing together, and they made a video for this single. We got this single done. We mixed it. Mastered by Greg Ryerson. The video is up and out. We're going to play it for you later in the show. So it's pretty, like I said, I think it's really impressive. They've been hustling and to get a band off the ground and really get it rolling pretty quickly during a pandemic is amazing. So kudos to them. We're going to dissect their tune a little bit tonight. Like I said, it's finished. It's out. Just came out, a week ago or something. Friday. Okay, just a few days ago.
Is the tune out or is there
the video is out?
The video.
The first single essentially is out. The video came out. Can you download the single as a release already, Brad?
Yep, it's up on all streaming services.
Okay,
and
yep.
iTunes and all that as well.
So the single is out. The video is out. It's the first one. The record's great. We got, like I said, all the drums are done. Drums for this one were done at Winterland, which is here in Minnesota, out in New Hope. And then we also did some drum tracking and some basic tracking over at Flowers Studio, both of which I would like to get to on this show at some point, take you guys around to some of the other studios that we get to work in. We're definitely planning on getting over to Flowers sooner than later. That plan's already together. We get you over to Winterland, too, to meet Todd and see that studio. And actually, Winterland is heavily featured in the video for the song you're going to see. The song is called Monster Carnival. The whole video was shot there kind of during and then at the end of a recording session. So you get to see that studio a little bit. But it'd be cool to take you guys over there. And part of now working at home, like many of us do, is I can track drums here. As you guys know, we got the drum set in the back. We got Ollie playing some percussion right now. I'll wait.
Do your thing, man. You done?
You good? Okay. What was I saying? Part of being back in the basement is I do some overdubs here. I've got some drums here, but we don't always do full band sessions here. And, I used to have a much larger studio where I could have the full band hanging out and separate big room for drums and a little more space. Part of being back at home, which I really enjoy, is I get to visit some other studios when I do need more space to cut a bigger drum sound. Or, like I said, this is a big, loud rock band, so we wanted big rooms to be able to take 412 cabinets and 100-watt Marshall heads and turn them kind of all the way up. We could do that here, but, the neighborhood might want me gone pretty quick, I would think, because, these guys don't play quietly. This song is a heavy rock song. But yeah, so it's cool. It's cool to get to see some other studios. That's part of the fun of working at home is I get to book the room I want for the thing I need, spread a little love around, get to see some other scenery, and then, we do the basic tracks, like I said, at Winterland for this one, and then we do bring it back here and we do more guitars. And we do all the vocals at my house and any additional overdubs, and then I do all the mixing here. So yeah, this one's done. We're gonna go through it. We'll show you the drums, kind of before and after plugins. We could, we just dissect. Obviously, same as every week. If you have questions, please ask them. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to go underneath any one of these elements and show you guys anything that's going on.
We
We're
got
also
some
gonna
people in the
have-
house, man.
Oh, cool.
A bunch of people with us tonight.
Hey, people, thanks for joining us. We're just getting rolling. We're talking about the song we're going to look at tonight. Fuzzrd, Monster Carnival is the name of the song. Mix is already done. Singles out. Like I said, we're just going to dissect what's already done. And we'll get into that pretty quickly here. We're also going to be joined in a little while by Brett and Eric, who are the two guitar players for Fuzzrd. So they're going to pop in on Zoom and hang out with us, answer some questions. If you guys have some for them, please ask them. Same deal. We'll just talk about, what making this song was like. It's cool. Like I said, it's cool to talk about a record that we're still making. It's not done. We're in progress. So we can talk about that process. Those guys can talk about how horrible it is to work with me, how much of a slave driver I am, and how much of a prick I am, but how much their records sound pretty sweet when they're done, when it's all said and done. So maybe it's worth dealing with me.
It's only a 2-hour show, though, so.
Yeah, right. So hopefully they don't want to talk too in depth about my prickishness. But I don't know. I've been the last couple episodes that were on Tuesdays and not this drum one, we've been really freestyling, kind of enjoying some of that freestyle. So any questions are always welcome because we like to just kind of chat and not always be kind of in Pro Tools unless someone wants us to be in Pro Tools. I know Brad back there, not to just put him straight on the spot, but I'm about to, because why not? We'll just get right into it. He was talking about he had a kind of like a little bit of just, random music news and stuff. I also have some stuff I want to kind of show off, some stuff that showed up for a release that we've talked about on the show. I'll do that maybe in a moment here, but what were you alluding to so secretively? Can't talk earlier, my friend Brad.
Do you remember Deep Elm Records?
Sure.
And 30-something Records, who put out the Gratitude and Far?
Oh, yeah.
releases
Yeah,
overseas?
the 30-something is from
Germany. I believe.
Germany, right.
Yep.
They've done the reissues, right. Yep.
So,
I've got one of them hanging on my wall.
Right.
The Gratitude one.
so similarly with that label and some other stuff, they announced a partnership with Deep Elm today. And one of the records they're going to be reissuing on vinyl is Fighting Starlight by Benton Falls. Do you remember that band at all?
I remember Benton Falls because Michael Richardson, who played guitar on the Jealous Sound, was the singer of Benton Falls.
That's right.
Yep. So I got to know Michael a lot better afterwards, but I was aware of Benton Falls back then.
Cool.
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah. So I think I can't remember exactly, but there's like
Dog is just squeaking and having just a great time. Well, it's part of the show.
Yeah, he's in the Everybody Loves All.
We got nothing to hide.
I can't tell you exactly where. This would be a great trivia thing down the road, but there are several instances of his collar showing up on albums just because he was down here when something was getting cut or whatever. And that is an Easter egg within Tupero made albums for sure. Anyway, sorry, not to cut you off. But
Yeah.
So Benton Falls, that's cool.
Yep. So
Shout out to Michael. I haven't talked to him in too long.
yeah, so that's been one of my favorite records to go back to in the last couple of years. I don't know, that's just in that genre, that style.
Right.
That's something I go back to quite a bit.
Nice.
And it's just kind of like an all-day listen, just put it on and it just repeat.
I haven't
And it's
listened
just
to that
such a
record in years.
chill
I
record,
should.
but it's really emotional at the same time. So
Okay.
got to be in the right mood for it. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to finally own that on vinyl when that does come out.
Nice. I wasn't actually in the band anymore when it happened, but that band Imbroco, I talked to you about
Yep.
that band, right?
Yep.
That was a band that I kind of started with those guys. When I first moved to Texas, I kind of ended up starting one band and then being offered to join another band pretty much at the exact same time. And oddly enough, those two bands consisted of two guys in each that were a band that had split up. So I was playing with like both factions of the split band, which was a band called Mineral. I ended up choosing to join the Gloria record. The other band became Imbroco and put out one album on Deep Elm. So I wonder if that one will get reissued somehow. I mean, I don't know that it was made a big wave in their catalog. Really, no offense, you know what I mean. But that band toured like once or twice and quickly went away. But that would be interesting if that came back out. I found it on the internet the other day to hear it.
Oh, really?
I remember. I think I was there for like the writing of most all of that stuff, and then they grabbed this guy named Matt Breedlove, who also played in that band Pop Unknown. You remember them?
Yep.
From Texas. Matt Breedlove I was playing bass with him, Broco, and drums with the Gloria record. So when it ended up going with the Gloria record, Matt Breedlove jumped into Broco, and they made that record pretty quickly. So like, I was there for most of the writing, and I think even some of my bass lines kind of survived into the album or whatever. So
nice. There's actually going to be 2 Pop Unknown records that get re-released as part of this series as well. So
was it another Mineral alumni band, because that was Gabriel, from the drummer from Mineral, ended up in Pop Unknown as well, and also was the drummer of Broco. An incestuous Texas music scene. That's cool. Is Deep Elm still a label?
Yeah, I think they're doing a lot of like instrumental stuff now.
Yep.
Jonah and I actually looked into it a little bit when we were, planning stuff for this, just to see what the fit would be. But
this dog just taking over the show. He got
he's
a new
like
toy.
Just
he
in the corner of the frame too. It's great.
Good. He just turned 10 the other day. He got a new toy, and he's just showboating down
People
here.
love him. He's the star.
I remember hearing a story. I don't know if it's true or not, but that guy John, right, who owns Deep Elm, is that his name, John? I remember hearing that he was like totally straight-laced, like lawyer, white collar, not music guy, was at some either party or bar some night, heard Sunny Day Real Estate on the jukebox or radio. Have you ever heard this story?
No.
Heard Sunny Day Real Estate and was like, the fucking clouds parted and the sun came in, and it like, he had this epiphany that he wanted to start a record label and sign any band he could that sounded like Sunny Day Real Estate.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true, but I heard that story more than once over the years. I somehow remember it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Only other thing I have is on this day in 1993.
You gotta go, dog. Yeah, 93, listening. Oh, yeah, take your toy, too.
So yeah, on this day in 1993, Goo Goo Dolls' Superstar Car Wash was released.
Great one. Yep.
Incredible record.
Yep. So for some people definitely are going to know this. Other slightly younger people, no offense, will not. The Goo Goo Dolls didn't always sound like Iris.
Right.
Superstar Car Wash is a rockin' record, and it's a good one. It's a good checkout. If you haven't heard that, go back. It's good pop punk rock and stuff. Robbie, the bass player, sang a lot and had some cool tunes. Yeah, good album.
Yeah, Falling Down and 'Cause You're Gone are like 2 of my absolute favorite Goo Goo Dolls songs, and I love that band, like every era.
Right.
I saw them a couple times about a year and a half ago on this tour that they were doing, and it was just mind-blowing, like how good they were.
Cool.
Just, good production, but not over the top, didn't take away from what they were actually doing on stage.
Yeah.
Just a really cool band to see. Great catalog.
Yeah, I bet hit after hit. I bet they can play a 2-hour set, and you're like, I know all of these songs, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's cool. Yeah, Superstar Car Wash is a good one.
We'll drop the link in the chat for that one.
For those who don't know, I believe SA has done some touring with the Goo Goo Dolls over the years. Not in my time. I haven't met those guys, but that's cool. Good record. Great record.
We've got some new people in the house. It's a busy night tonight.
Say hello. Ask questions. We're going to dig into this Fuzzrd song in just any minute here. We're just kind of doing the weekly catch-up. I wanted to show off some stuff that showed up in the mail. We do have the new Fuzzrd tee, which showed up. Thanks, guys. I'll wear it. I'll wear it on laundry day.
I wear mine to bed at night. That's what I sleep in. They're my jams.
Yeah. Joe got a schmedium so he could wear it as a nightie.
Exactly.
And then Jonah, so if you were in early on the Jonah Matrenga record, which we've talked about, we had Jonah on the show. You can always go back if at any point you haven't seen something we're talking about and you're interested. All this stuff lives on YouTube. The best way to get there is just to go to noisebelow.live. But anyway, if you were in early, then you might have been a Kickstarter backer, I guess you call it. And this is the stuff. This is like the package you got. So like this stuff is kind of physical now. It's kind of just lived in my computer and in Jonah's iTunes until just recently. So It's pretty cool. Like you get a bunch of stuff. This is the picture disc, hand numbered, 500 press, right, Brad?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it's got, this one's 132 of 500. I see I was way high up on Jonah's priority list. Just made the thing. Thanks, bud. Just throw it like total like David Letterman, just with the cards. Ching, it's gone. But pretty cool. So the vinyl, the classic CD, which is always a classic. And then to go even more classic, the cassette situation with the blue cassette in there. It's probably hard to see on camera, but it looks pretty sweet. And then you also get this limited edition 7-inch with a couple bonus tunes. Our buddy Ian Prince came over and played drums at the house on this song Departure, and I gave him a real gnarly kind of like Led Zeppelin plus distortion sound, and it came out really cool. Ian's a monster drummer. Cool bonus track. It's funny how like the bonus track is one of the favorite ones. They're all really good. That one was cool. Then you get this is kind of like, this is going to be the actual album cover when it's out, right, Brad? Or this is kind of the album. Like if this were the vinyl, this would be it.
Yeah,
but obviously this one is just
colorful side is the actual album
right,
cover. So when
even
when the Spotify or digital release comes out on the 5th of March, what you've got in your hand there is the cover that'll go with that.
Right, and then you get this kind of like a not mini, it's a zine.
Yeah, 20 pages.
20-pager. Brad put a bunch of work into this. Photos. There's a foreword from Norman about the record, which I don't know that I've seen yet, so I'm actually really excited to read that.
I'll tell you this. I left here one night, the night that Jonah sent it to me, and I got home and I read it right away.
Yeah.
And I texted or emailed Jonah, I can't remember, and I just stopped and I was like, dude, I can't read this fast enough. And he said, I told Norman the same thing. It's just like such an exciting,
that's just
full
Norman.
Circle story.
Norman's
the way
a genius.
Norman writes.
Norman's a genius, and he's just a great writer. He knows how to put it into words. I'm excited to read it. I haven't read it yet. Not gonna, read it on camera, but we'll read it
next week.
There's a bunch of cool stuff. You got some lyrics in here. Yeah, I mean, this forward from Norman is not like a paragraph. It's like 3 pages, 4 pages. I'm excited to read it. Right, you got some credits. And whatnot. Lyrics, photos, select lyrics. Is it all the lyrics?
All the lyrics, yeah.
All the lyrics.
That's cool, man.
Bunch of photos of contributors. Jonah with just friends and family. Pretty cool little package. And then there's going to be a proper release too. But yeah, if you were in on the Kickstarter, shelled out a few bucks to help us make this thing and help us pay the bills and stay musicians and stay alive, we greatly appreciate it. And this is the big old stack of stuff we sent you. So I hope you feel like you got some good bang for your buck. It's a pretty healthy pile, man. It's into it. I'm into it. And this record is awesome. Please check it out. Whether you want a physical copy or just check it out online or whatever, check it out. It's good. So with that, what should we do? Should we rock this tune a little bit? I think what we'll do, and Pro Tools has been a little funny today, so I guess we'll just see how it goes. But I would like to maybe just play this thing top to bottom with the vocal so everyone can hear it. And then if anyone can ask, if anyone has questions, we can dig into some of those. Or maybe I'll just start doing a little dissecting before we bring in the guys from Fuzzrd. But again, this is a song from a band called Fuzzrd. It's called Monster Carnival. It's hard, heavy rock and roll. We've done a lot of pop. We've done a lot of jangly stuff. I do a lot of that. I also do some rock, some hard, heavy rock with these, especially with these guys. So we're gonna try to play this thing. I hope Pro Tools doesn't crap out. I'm kind of asking a lot from it tonight because this is a full mix. We got the stream thing with, there's just a little bit going on, but I should have maybe committed some stuff ahead of time. Didn't really do that. We're kind of seat of the pants flying. So I'm gonna try to play this thing. If it craps out, I apologize. Here we go.
Pro Tool.
There we go.
Oh man. I mean,
we have. I mean, we were saving it for later, but we have the video too. Which
no, it's cool. Let's do. Let's just. I'm gonna just take a moment. I'm gonna commit some stuff because it's totally fine. There's a ton of plugins on these vocals. I'm just gonna commit these. I don't know if we lose audio. I forget if we lose audio. So we might lose you for a second. But again, this is real time stuff. Sometimes when you get to a point when you're mixing, you have to start. I mean, at least on my rig, you have to start committing some stuff because just kind of start running out of computer. So we're going to commit all these, which will save us a bunch of plugins for now. We can uncommit them if we need to dissect them later, but I'm going to do that quick. So sorry if I lose you. Here we go. I got to do that too. Oh, actually, I'm not committing. I'm just going to freeze.
Freeze, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Knew what you meant.
We're coming up with some great ideas for things we could do when that, like screens like that happen, like some little bumpers we could hit you guys with it. If it doesn't make you laugh, it'll definitely make us laugh. That's good enough for us.
It's really what we're doing here anyway.
Right. We're pretty much just entertaining ourselves and anyone who wants to come along for the ride. And God bless you for giving us a shot, because we know we're goofballs and we know we're talking about recording rock music, which, you know, only so many people probably really want to know how these donuts are made. But if you want to know, we're happy to show you.
We got the recipe.
That's right. I got the recipe. I like that. All right. I'm going to see if we can get away with just that. I don't know. I mean, maybe like this has got some stuff. Maybe we'll freeze him up quick. I need to start making some real money so I can get a new computer around here. Send business my way, people.
On that topic, you know, so I had just got a new computer.
Yeah, you did.
A bunch of people I know have been like diving into the M1 MacBooks. Those things are having
hearing
problems.
Good things.
No.
Oh, problems, really?
So
okay.
There's a virus problem that's out right now.
Didn't know that.
And they're chewing through the SSDs. Like I didn't read all the article, but I guess it really, like, they're expecting the lifespan of the first generation ones to be like 2 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yikes.
Well,
yeah,
I'll keep.
I mean,
staying where I'm
the
at.
laptop I had was like a 15, and that thing's still bucking.
Yep.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Might have to wait on that silicone chip.
I'm asking a lot. I run this whole Pro Tools studio on a Mac Mini, and it's not the newest one. I don't know. It's 5 or 6 years old now or something. And it really does pretty good. But I think once we start adding the stream mics and some of the extra, I don't know, it just taxes it a little more. But anyway, I've frozen a couple things. With any luck at all, we're going to hear this song all the way through. Wow. Man, we're just really dying. We're dying on the vine with this whole situation.
This is probably, it's always like when we need to do it.
Yeah, right.
When there's
it's
problems.
Classic. This computer will run with 0 issues for, I don't know, 2 weeks, right? I played the song earlier, like with the sample rate cranked, or the buffer cranked all the way up or down. It was totally fine. Now it's being weird. What do I do? I could try to kill some more stuff. I would love to play you this song top to bottom because that's the point. These false starts are getting old quick. So let me think. There's just not that much stuff that looks that heavy, like that needs to be committed right now or frozen.
We were I was saying Diane was talking about. I just wanted to call this out because she was mentioning to me the other day about like having some glitch problems or something, and it's part of the life, part of the deal. It happens to all of us everywhere.
Unfortunately, it just really is. Yeah, like I said, we have days and days, no problems, and then lots of problems all of a sudden. So I'm gonna just freeze up. I'm gonna freeze up a bunch of guitars. I'm just gonna do it quick. Sorry, we're gonna lose audio one more time, and I really think that this has got to work for us.
I like Ken's comment.
What do you say?
Good call.
It's just, I don't know. This should work. Okay, now we should be back. I see us. Sorry about that. Yeah, someone said the song is so heavy, this shit just won't play back, and that's right. You know. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, real time glitches. Again, we're not a produced fancy show. We don't shoot this shit ahead of time. We're hanging with you live right now. We're gonna try to play this thing again. I have frozen almost everything other than the drum set. I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully the restart helped too. Obviously, we had some weird clocking glitch. You probably heard it on your end too for a little bit.
Yeah, John
something weird
it
was happening. So hopefully Pro Tools is just a little more happy in general. We're going to give this one more spin from the top. Sorry about the false starts. Monster Carnival, too heavy for your computer. Hey, we made it all the way through. Thank God. So there it is. That's the track, top to bottom. What were you going to say? You were saying something, Joe.
Well, no.
Or maybe you weren't. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, not really.
You said something about someone had a question. I don't know. I thought you said you were going to mention a comment or something.
Ken made a comment about the low end sounding good, so I was just curious what Ken was listening on, and if anybody, I mean,
yeah. So
we
have this song. This is the mix. Obviously, I'm playing it as, I believe, right where I left off. I think that I just turned off this limiter, and then sent it to mastering. Other than that, I think it's where exactly where it was. So it has been mastered, and Greg, like I said, a local guy, Greg Ryerson, Rare Form Mastering, did a great job. It sounded very much like I felt like it sounded very much like where I left it off, but something happened in the low end where it really improved even more. So thank you for the compliment on where it is currently, and I think it really improved with mastering. Mastering is always such a dice roll. You try different people, you get different results. Different people hear things differently and monitor differently. I've gotten stuff back from mastering and been super disappointed, or been really back and forth with the mastering guy, and then I've gotten stuff back where his first pass, no notes. I love it. I hit him up. I go, hey, any comments, questions, concerns, anything I can repair on my end? He's like, no, it was great. What do you think? And I'm like, it's great. Okay, great. High five. See you later. That was this one. No back and forth. He did my mix. Looks like mix 2. I think Brett had a handful of mix notes, like very minimal. I went back and did one set of revisions. We were happy. We sent her over to mastering. And there it is. So we are going to dissect this thing a little bit, or we're happy to if anyone wants to ask about anything specifically. We also have the dudes from Fuzzrd just kind of hanging out on standby. We also have the video to play you. We just played the song, so I don't know. Is it appropriate to play the video now?
We can save the video for a minute.
Let's talk to the guys. We'll talk to the guys. After we talk to the guys, maybe we will then do any dissection if anyone wants to ask any specific questions, or while we're talking to the guys, if anyone wants to hear some guitars soloed up or anything like that, we can do that. And then maybe we'll play the video kind of more at the end of the show or after we're done talking to the guys, instead of hitting you with the song kind of twice in a row. So let me turn this up. We're going to do a couple things here, and we're going to get the boys in on the stream.
Yeah, I should be able to just, if you flip their mics.
I just got to pop them on. You're good on your end, Mr. Joe?
Yeah, they are. They should be. I mean, we see them.
And we should have joining us now from their rock and roll rooms. One guy's got more guitars than the other guy. I'll let you figure out which one it is. We got Brett and Eric from Fuzzrd. Hey, dudes, what's going on?
Hey.
You hear us, Brett? Are you there?
It doesn't sound like you can.
Brett, are you there? This is awesome. Now what do we do?
Eric hears us.
Do we text him? Hey,
Yeah,
Brett.
we could text him. He's like
Can you hear us?
smiling. You know what? I wonder if Brett turned it. No, we can't hear him.
We
either.
can't hear you,
Yeah,
Brett.
we can't hear him at all.
I'm guessing.
I'll text.
Yeah, no, he had this at the start of the stream. I think he's got it figured out.
We still don't hear you, bud.
Still can't hear you, Brett.
You just muted?
This is every corporate call
No one hears you.
that's ever existed.
We hear Eric, but we don't hear you. What are you doing?
Do this all day at work.
Is he
Oh,
just
am I
now
muted?
reacting to what we said before?
Can you share my screen?
Hey, Brett, we're talking to you. Well, hey, Eric.
Brett, we're talking to you.
Screw Brett. We'll talk to Eric. Eric's the cooler guy in the band anyway. What's going on, dude?
Nothing much, man. Just hanging out in my office, dude.
Nice.
It's been good.
Right on.
Your show is fun. I stepped in a couple times, and
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks, man.
it reminds me a lot of. I watched the Ken Andrews podcast quite a bit too.
Yeah, we do too.
It-
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Right on.
I
Yeah,
love
him
it.
and Jim Atkins, and I mean, there's a ton of them. Yeah, we're just adding to the
Oh,
noise.
Jim from Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah,
right?
he just started one recently too called "Passing Through Frequencies," which is awesome.
Yep.
He's done some interviews and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. We were inspired by all of those things, and with a pandemic and with Joe kind of lighting a fire under me to like, let's actually try this thing. We started doing it, and it's been pretty much fun. I think, right?
It's been a ball.
It's totally rad, man. Good work, guys.
Thanks, dude. So yeah, we're just showing the people the rock and roll track, which I was telling them earlier. We went over to Winterland and did almost all the recording over there. I know Brett came and did some guitars here. Maybe you played some guitars on this one at my house too. I know you came over here and played some guitars on something. I don't remember which one now.
It wasn't this song. I did all recording at Winterland for this song. Monster Carnival. I did
Got it.
a couple others at your place.
Yeah,
so.
right. Yeah, it's hard to keep track, and it's cool that like we're kind of dissecting or talking about a record. This song is done, but not the whole album is done. So there's still work to do. You guys are still. I see Brett weekly. You know, we're popping in and out of Winterland. We're still working away. We're getting there. So
Brett, are you with us all of a sudden now?
Brett went out. Maybe he's probably restarting or trying to refigure it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I got a cool plan for the upcoming solos and kind of harmonizing with what I've heard out of Brett's voice already.
Cool.
We just do what we do in rehearsal and continue it on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, these guys. It's awesome. These guys are practicing often. It's my favorite part. One of my favorite parts about Fuzzrd right now is that.
There we go.
There's
we
Brett.
got Brett.
There he is.
I gotta fix the Zoom thing so we don't.
Sorry,
like,
Brett. We just
spit
didn't
out
have you
the-
for a while, so we were, telling the
Listen,
people.
The only thing I said of importance is I'm not going to let him win this guitar contest. Before
Oh, he's currently kicking the snot out of you, dude. Look at all the sweet guitars he's got. You got one. What is that, an Epiphone behind you? I can't see the headstock on that one.
Really low blow, man.
but this is the simpatico that we have. So
No, it's good. You guys are. I have friends like this, and you guys are some of my friends like this, where we're really, really bad influences on each other, and send each other links to cool guitars that maybe we can't afford but want, and maybe you have enough dough, or maybe you just have to have it, and all of a sudden you're selling something, or hiding something, or making something happen, where another guitar can show up, and I think we're always egging each other on, like, I send Brett every cool Les Paul posting I can find just to see if he'll buy it.
It gets knuckles. Like, you can see this pickup's missing, right? I mean, that was a flip to pay for something else.
Right. I actually couldn't see that. I thought maybe you're working on like some Ace Frehley smoke bomb situation or something, but
right.
Which maybe you should, because what are you using a neck pickup for?
I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I started to
Yeah, get rid of them all, man.
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
take the pick guard off too.
Put a flash pot or something in there. For like, or
That's
like
out of love.
strobe light or something.
I think I'm going to start picking up on what you did, Jeremy, with grabbing an instrument and then tucking it away, maybe in a different state or a different house.
Right.
Right.
I'll tell that story because I haven't told it on the stream. I don't know how many years ago it was now. 7, 8, 10 years ago, Brett. I don't know. It's been quite a few years ago. Brett and I were working on. Me and Brett made a bunch of records. I worked with his last band, Downtread. I don't know, probably over like 12 or 13 years now or something. It's been quite a while. But at some point, as we were making one of those albums, we were out hunting, and we came across a '79 Silverburst, which I used to have quite a few. At one point, I had 3 of them when I was playing and singing in a band called Attention, like kind of in the early incarnation of that band. Like my thing was the Silverburst Les Paul. Oh, Joe's burning a little incense in here, I see. Silverburst Les Paul and like either a JCM 800 or a JMP, which to today is I'd say a pretty damn respectable rock rig. But I had sold all of them. We found one out at Levon's. I bought one, or me and Brett, I think Brett kind of helped me buy it because the band kind of owed me some money as we were finishing up the record. I forget. There's always a deal
There's a
involved.
lot of guitars in the mix.
Yeah, there's a lot of guitars. There's a lot of deals. Me and Brett have handed off guitars back and forth to each other. There's a Gibson Explorer that's here. Maybe we'll show it on the thing today because we've been talking about
we should
showing an instrument once in a while. But there's an Explorer that's here that me and Brett have hot potatoed to each other a half a dozen times, and we, the rule is we can only sell it to one another. If I all of a sudden need some money to buy something, if he's got the dough, he'll buy it from me for an extremely low price. And then 6 months later, when he's hot to get something and needs that money, and I've got it, I buy it back from him, and we literally only sell them back and forth to each other because we're guitar nerds, as you can see.
I'm curious about it now.
What's that? The
I'm
Explorer?
curious about it now, and I kind of want it.
Oh yeah, well maybe we can hot potato it to you.
Oh, he's at the club. I mean,
I know you
he's
guys have
already
done
started-
that. You guys have done that with
Whatever
the SG.
you want, there's stuff back here.
Right. Well, we could talk about it.
No, not on any of those ones, but maybe.
Do you guys either of you two, Eric and Brett? I know Jeremy here, but do either of you guys own a Strat at all?
No.
I do.
Okay,
you
you do, Brett. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a studio Strat here. It's been high strung in Nashville tuning for forever. Oh, to get back to the story, so we bought the Silverburst.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I just remembered.
Gotcha.
Because Eric was talking about
Sick.
squirreling something away. I had bought and sold so many vintage guitars at that point, and the habit it's better now, or it's spread out now because now there's studio stuff and drums and all this other shit I feel like I need to buy. But I took that guitar and I squirreled it away out of town. It's 400 miles away from here at my parents' house, and I can't sell it or trade it or whatever. And I just every year we. Not sometimes every month, especially when this Adam Jones reissue happened, we just watched the price of those guitars like climb. Like the thing is like having a gold bar buried out in the backyard or something like. And I'm glad it hasn't been here because I would have traded it 1,000%.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So it's kind of smart. Like, yeah, take one of your favorite ones if you got an old one, and if you are a total gear nerd and you might indeed trade it or sell it or whatever, and just like take it to your granny's attic and just put it up there and let it age 30 years and see what happens. Because that Les Paul was maybe $3,000 at the time we bought it, and they're worth.
It's hard for you not to go get it and maybe cash in for 12.5 right now.
Right. But yeah, because it's like there's also
Way
the
back
other
up
fear.
high- no.
There's also the other fear, and it does happen of like sometimes the bottom drops out, and something that was
Right.
12 or 13 grand is now back to $5,000 or whatever. You never know. But man, that Adam Jones reissue came out, and those guitars went off the chain. The other problem with that guitar is like it's an old one, so it needs to be refretted. But if you refret it, you screw up the value, so you can't really play it, and you don't want to refret it. So kind of the best thing to do is just slide it under a bed and let it become worth money. I think every once in a while my dad will put an Allen wrench on it, make sure it's like neck is straight, check the tension, strum it a little bit, wipe the dust off of it, back it goes. Anyway, yeah, vintage guitars, they are like, I don't know, they're like drugs. Like once you got one, you're like, two would be cool, and two would be better if it was three. My favorite one is how many guitars does a guitarist need? Just one. More.
That's what that one show said. I forget the name of the podcast, but that guy talked about it, and that's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
That one guy only needs one, but then he changes his mind like on another one.
No, it's just one. More. That's the answer.
Oh, it's just one more?
Yeah.
That's the joke?
That's the joke. Just one more. Just one more.
So I'm guessing a slew of guitars or anything, but on this record, not necessarily this track for sure. If you guys remember,
Yeah, I bet Brett
anything.
remembers. What do we? Yeah, you
What
guys are.
did you use on this?
You guys are gear nerds. We're all gear nerds. A lot of amps, a lot of guitars. What do we use on this one, Brett and Eric? Do you remember kind of specifically? I might have some notes. I'm pretty lazy about notes in the studio.
Oh, I could probably rattle that shit off. So could Eric too.
Well, go ahead. Rhythm, main rhythm
Eric,
guitars.
for your solo, you used your VOS SG with the
No
vibrola, right?
Yep.
And I think that's the same guitar you used for the ear candy parts on the chorus. Those kind of cool like Bryan Adams guitars that come in.
Towards the end you're referring to?
Like on the choruses, like the arpeggio.
No,
guitar.
we actually did your telly
on at least one of them, right? I think you have two. Let's find them.
Either you have it or I have it on the chorus. I know that for sure.
Yeah,
But I
we
don't
have
have
the
a
session.
Strat. I have a telly that I love to death.
Right, that was kind of the one Fender. It's you guys are obviously mostly Gibson. I mean, you own a couple other things, but this band is a Gibson
We're a Gibson band.
humbucker,
Yeah.
full-on ripper band. But in the studio, especially me, I'm always beating on Brett about let's pull out a telly, let's plug in my Jazzmaster. Like, in the studio, I want some other layers. I love Gibsons, I love Fenders too. But yeah, live, you guys are a bunch of 412 cabinets and Gibsons on the flamethrower position, and all things set to stun.
And Les Paul's it was that 57 reissue, the one that Billy Rowe redid.
Oh, the
And-
silver one. So yeah,
Yeah.
Brett's got one that was refinished by the same guy who refinished my 64P bass, a guy named Billy Rowe. God bless him. He's one of the best in the business, and he hooked us up with some really sweet paint jobs, which I don't think he really does anymore now that he has a full-blown guitar building company, and I don't think has time to just be painting dudes' guitars. But
he's
he
a
was nice
special-
enough to help us out, right?
So JCM 800, Bogner modded JCM 800.
Right. So it's not your ordinary 800 by any means, that Bogner
That's
that
kind of
you
like,
got.
it's the snorkeler mod. They call it, kind of known from the first Alice in Chains record.
Right.
Facelift. And it's like
Pretty coveted amp.
Die Young in a box.
Right. That thing has, so like for those who have used a JCM 800 or for those who don't know, JCM 800 is a fairly gainy Marshall. It's got a master volume and a preamp. And if you turn the preamp all the way up, a JCM 800 is pretty gainy. And then people will usually, often like rock guys will put another something tube screamer or something in front of that. The Bogner that Brett has, I would say where the JCM 800 gain stops at 10, that is probably at about 3 on the Bogner, maybe 3 or maybe 4. It would be all you would get out of a stock one, and then it like she goes from there. It's a different amp than an 800 stock
Other
800.
things too, like also good, like low end is treated different. The mid range,
Right, there's some shaping in the tone as well, but right, a lot of gain, a lot more gain out of that than a stock 800.
Out of any normal JC,
Right,
800,
yeah.
right?
Right,
Yeah.
basically any of that stuff, right? So that got used a lot. Did we put the diesel? We used the diesel on a bunch of songs. I don't know if this was one of them.
DZ's not on this so much. It's the Helios Eclipse. It's the
Oh, right, another Bogner.
800. Yeah.
We
so
used a
Bogner
couple
gives
different
us
Mesa
some
amps. We've used
Yeah.
quite a few Mesa amps now, but at
This
this
is
point,
the first one
Right.
that we use the Badlander on, and the solos on this we
Right.
recorded direct at your place.
right,
not
that
in
thing
the
has
big
been
room.
a godsend to us
It's
because we've tried some other things. I have a couple other like just full-on modeling things like the Line 6 Helix, and it's useful. I use it a lot. We use it sometimes. But we were on the hunt for an option for recording at my house that wasn't putting a 412 out in the other room and just turning it up to stun. We could do that, but like again, I make no bones about it. I'm in the basement of my house, and that would be a little intense at the volumes that we record at. So we were on the hunt for some different things. We've tried a bunch of different things. You went out on the limb and bought the Badlander, and it did the thing. It's a tube amp. We can use a cabinet and mic it, and it sounds great if we want to do that, or we can go direct out of it. It's got a handful of onboard emulations, and I'm sure even more accessible that we haven't even gotten to, but that thing has been really great. It sounds like a tube amp with no cabinet.
Yeah, and we're
Yep.
both. Eric has one now too.
Right,
and,
right. Yeah, they're so good. You guys now own 3 of them.
Oddly enough, you got 2 Gibson guys playing through the same amp at rehearsal, but with those different IRs on the back, and when we run it through an ears rig, it's direct. There's no.
All right, you take that send right to your ears rig, so there's no cabinet mic or no Palmer or none of that stuff anymore.
Great.
Right.
He can flip an IR one way, and I can go this way, and we're both on Gibsons, and like you can tell the difference. We have to be. You'd say we have to be a little conscious of like. You need to be on an SG and I need to be on a Les Paul, right?
Yeah, but that's true of any amp, right? I mean, no matter what amps or stuff, you guys are 2 guitar players in a band are always trying to figure out how to separate their tones in a way that complement each other. So whether you were direct or mic'd or whatever, you'd be doing that.
Yeah. And it's tricky for us because we both kind of dig the same thing, all the way from pickups to amps to guitars or whatever. So
which is just big rock thunder.
Yeah, the difference. Yeah,
Luckily, we're different guitar players,
Yeah, and I think that's what does it.
Yeah, that is true. What Eric said, that's a good point. I mean, you guys could play through 2 identical rigs and you'd sound totally different because you guys play very different, come from a little bit different schools and backgrounds and complement each other nicely. Just because you don't, so a lot of bands have 2 guitar players that sound exactly the same. And while that can be cool and do a thing or whatever, like, it's cool that you guys it's a little more old school rock and roll where like there's a left guy and a right guy and they each have their character or their thing or whatever.
Dude, it's so saturated. So many of the bands, like in a modern-esque sense, and it's no bashing on any other brands or amps, but it's identical and it's pointless, really.
Right, same guitar, same pickup, same rig, same rhythm guitar part, just like you're one guy doubled in the studio. Right, you guys don't do that. You guys have like, I don't even know how you'd pinpoint it, but there's definitely a certain Brett puts a certain English on his cue ball, and I'm not sure what Eric's English is quite yet. He hits the cue ball with a hammer, maybe, or something.
It's drunk and slash. And
Yeah,
right.
right.
In a cloud of Fuzzrd.
Yeah, but it works out, man.
When I recorded one of my first records, I just did it like at a time in like a blackout almost, and what I heard was what I heard, and then I just went with it, because I kind of took it as a Tony Iommi approach, and I've since kind of passed that method, and really remember it really well, because obviously I want it to sound really well. But
yeah, right. No, it's cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Me and Brett talk about it. It's like there are just overdubs that you add that it's like it takes the shape of the song and shifts it in a way where Brett wouldn't have done it. But we're both like, that's awesome, man. Because like, I don't know, me and Brett have kind of developed our rhythm or our formula for what our overdubs are. You just kind of do. I mean, we're always looking to find new things or whatever, but your ideas are like, they're left field ideas. We're like, oh shit, we wouldn't have done that, or like whatever it is, but we're like, you put it in there and you're like, now it sounds like Fuzzrd. Like it adds that extra spin on it or whatever. So it's cool, man.
I think my Mastodon failure and hum influence definitely comes out when I think of that, just because I think of the record in the big picture in my head. And if I don't just keep on spitting out ideas over top of it, then, it never could be. So that's why I do it.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting. Like you said, you just named those bands. I think you two share obviously a ton of bands in common, but maybe some of your main pillar bands would be different on the lists. You know what I mean? So it's like when you jam those things together, it works really well. Cause it's like, I know that Brett likes all of those bands that you just mentioned, but those aren't he wouldn't have mentioned those three if he just rattled off three of his influences. You know what I mean? But that works out well because, again, otherwise you end up with two of the same guy, and that's, I don't know, it's kind of fun, but it's a little too mathematical. I don't know. I was thinking about this earlier, like we've talked about this together. The kind of the whole point, at least from my perspective, for what I'm trying to do with Fuzzrd or whatever, is if there was a dartboard and like all the numbers were different genres of rock, and one was stoner rock and one was metal and one was classic rock and one was kind of 80s and one was whatever, I want Downtread to be a bullseye. You know what I mean? Like just kind of Fuzzrd, sorry, Downtread. Downtread's Brett's an old band, which I've worked with for a zillion years as well. So I want Fuzzrd to be a bullseye. You know what I mean? Like, and it does seem to already have a little bit of all those things. There's some stoner rock riffs. There's some kind of 80s rock stuff. There's some 90s rock stuff. There's more 2000s-y spaced out. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's a perfect, if you're a rock fan, there's something in there you're going to like, I think,
Yeah. The intersection of all things rock and big guitars.
Right. But really not leaving any of them out. You know what I mean? Like touching on pretty much like, it's really heavy at times. Some of the riffs could be like considered a metal guitar riff. Other times it's more like blues rock, or, it's just, I don't know. It goes everywhere. Sometimes it is kind of stoner rock and we're turning on fuzz pedals and trying to get the riff to sound like nasty, like, and not just a Marshall sound but like a broken amp sound. I don't know. We're trying to have fun with it. We're trying to put it somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Like I said, if you're into rock, man, we hope to have a little bit of something for everyone in there. So far, I think we're kind of doing it, Anyone got any questions in the chat or anything?
Like, there's so many cool songs that are going to be on this record, not to jump too far ahead into the future, but just listening to it, this song rounds out a perfect part of that record going into the rest of the record, I think,
Yeah, right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to, you guys are going to start, I was saying earlier, you guys have been really on the social media attack as you've kind of, are navigating what it's like to put a new band in the water during a pandemic where you can't go out and play and you can't go out and do kind of the traditional ways or whatever. And you guys have been super creative, and there's a video for this single, which is now out. The single and the video is out. We're going to show the video in a little bit. There's also been some teasers of another song, right, Brett? Is there something else that's been out from the album, or like a clip?
Kind of, and B-Gun, I remember we had a conversation. He's like, don't put that out. Well, it kind of kicked everything off for us. We took Life Turned Black, which I think that's a song that I think we're going to put out a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And we did kind of teased the whole thing with that song before I kind of had a roadmap, or we had a roadmap for how we want to roll this thing out with that long, slow rollout, 5 to 6 singles leading up to a late summer release. No reason to put an album out now would be futile, wasted effort. There's no shows to go play. We started with teasing that song, and I was so excited. Like, I put a lot of it out there.
Yeah.
I was putting out like the guitar solo all the way to the end of the song, and it was a happy accident because I think it kicked things off for us and it got people interested. And
Yeah.
So that's unofficially out there, but it's there. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a few things.
And there's I like to think that there's a bunch of your fans that are already here watching us, but there's probably a bunch of people that are finding out about you guys now. So where should they go look for the things that are already available?
Well, we kind of try to have the content in all the places that people want to consume it. We're not there yet.
Yeah, but you got stuff out. There's
Yeah.
at least an Instagram that you guys are putting clips up and stuff, and I see you guys are doing guitar solos at the rehearsal space and just staying active.
Yeah, so a few things. Instagram's there, Facebook, and
these just
YouTube.
/Fuzzrd. Anything special?
Yeah. Well, it's just facebook.com/Fuzzrd, Instagram @Fuzzrd. Gosh, I don't, the link for the YouTube, it's not custom yet because we don't have enough subscribers.
Sure. But it's just /Fuzzrd. No weird tag on, I suppose.
Yeah,
right. And everyone should know that doesn't know there's no A. It's a unique spelling, right? No A.
Yeah.
FUZZRD.
That is a beautiful thing about this. When you Google search anything, man, it's right there, front and center.
Right. Yeah, man. That was part of the
best
whole
way to
thought process with this thing. Like, we talked about that at one point. Like, to be able to search something and have a unique term or a unique word or drop a letter or whatever, I don't know. Like, I, for many years, played in a band. I played, I got a couple great ones, but I played in a band called Attention. Try to look that up on the internet, Just type in Attention.
I'm well aware.
Yeah, right.
I'm well aware
See how
it
long
works.
it takes to find something. I played in a band called Gratitude before that. Give that a spin. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have a word that's already a strange word, and then it's missing a letter. So it's like, I don't think you probably Google that. Nothing else probably comes up, right?
The only thing that comes close is a company called Fuzzrd that sells cool gear for dogs. And we don't have a problem with that because we all love dogs.
I smell a cross promotion. What's going on with that? Yep. Brett's got a dog that could definitely be on the cover of some package for something. Dog's got a look, Yeah. That dog's got a look.
We are all pet dudes here. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Right. Yep.
But Eric's dog is a cat.
Oh, I got a couple of cats over here too. My wife's got a couple of cats. One of them became mine somehow.
We do. We have a question.
We have a question from the chat. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, chat was wondering. So Brandy was asking, what was the biggest challenge with putting a band together during the pandemic? And frankly, I am quite curious about that as well. I bet you guys ran into a lot of things.
You want to toss a coin? You want to both kind of take this? What do you think?
What's up? Yeah, I'd love to hear both.
Obviously, the band was formed a little bit before the pandemic, right? But we've done a lot of work during the pandemic. So, but yeah, feel free to,
Well, I'll start. The four of us kind of got together casually for, really just for fun, as a creative outlet outside of our other bands. Rob and I come from Downtread, Eric's with Via, and, Scott and I, the drummer, have played on and off together probably for about 5 years. Just a little bit here and there, nothing too crazy. And I think somewhere along the lines, like, the tunes just started sounding cool. We had just kind of an organic thing that was happening. And a little bit to what you were saying, like the juxtaposition of styles coming together, gave us something we felt good about. And I guess for me, when the pandemic came, it was like, you know what? Like, we're lucky we got this. Let's throw it down. Like, let's just do this. And rather than look at the cup half empty, let's come out of this just like with something really awesome that we're really proud of. And, there was nothing hard about it at all. We threw ourselves into it and we work hard at it every day. But it's something we love, so it's not work. And, we wrote a bunch of tunes, we started recording them, and it just started taking on a life of its own. And I think it just kind of happened a little organically. So it just kind of works for us, I don't know what your take is, Eric, but
Yeah, I mean, we definitely started it prior to the pandemic, but only, like you said, just kind of as a casual thing. I mean, for me coming into this picture, it was at kind of a lower time for my band Via. And so it felt right and natural because I was able to keep writing riffs and stuff that didn't necessarily meet the bill on the direction on where Via was going. It kind of went over into this field, which felt cool, which is still unreleased stuff that we want to work on. But anyways, as soon as the pandemic started, we kind of took, I mean, what was it? A couple, maybe weeks, maybe a month off, maybe 2 months even. And then I think we texted each other, called each other and said, are we still doing this? And we're like, yeah, we should just go for it because there's nothing else to really look forward to right now. And that is definitely, you know, once we kind of realized that there is nothing going to happen for a while, we should definitely go in this direction. I mean, that's how it felt pretty natural for me to want to continue to do this with you guys because it's awesome and I love it. And I think same for you, you know, is okay, well, there's nothing else that's going to happen. There's no shows we're going to go do. There's no, let's record a record. Let's make up a good band, you know, and the rest is history.
yeah.
How long have you guys known each other?
Eric and I,
Yeah.
maybe 5 years, maybe 6.
Since Groove City, probably. That's
Oh,
probably
right.
the first time we met each other.
It's probably the first time I met you,
kind of
too.
unofficially.
Yeah.
I bet that's when I met you, too, at Groove City. I definitely remember meeting you at Groove City. I think I'd seen Via before that, but I don't know if I, like, really met you or... I definitely was in
Sure.
Groove
Yeah,
City.
Groove City was a big opening play for a lot of the musicians I know in the Twin Cities for sure. Because, I mean, it was the most kick-ass spot to go to, I thought, you know?
Yeah,
So,
dude,
if you're
it came out of nowhere, and it was awesome, and you could get a cool deal, and, yeah, it went away quick. But, it was like, all of a sudden, there was a new shop. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome for a minute. That's
will
where that
say this,
Explorer
that-
came from, that we hot potato back and forth. That was from Groove City.
Yeah. Yeah. And he still has it.
Yep.
And it actually went to Twin Town, and then I went and got it back.
That's right. I sold it to Twin Town. You got it back, and that's when we made the deal
and
that
I
we'd
sold
only
back
sell
to
it
you. So-
back and forth now, right?
I love those stories, man. I got the craziest one myself, too, you know, of a guitar going around.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you got it
I
back.
will say this though, like going back to that original question, because you start thinking about things. I mean, there was like some weirdness in the beginning with just the mechanics of the pandemic. Like where you're like, should we show up to the same place together or whatever?
Yeah.
And you know, in keeping in step with being responsible, like we never really ran vocals till much later at the space, and everybody was kind of in a place. But so there was always this like walk into the building quick. You know, there was that point where you were like,
Oh,
so
totally.
there was that part of it that was hard at first, but you know,
Very weird. Very
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, a little weird, but yeah, it's funny because there's all the safety precautions and all that stuff that everyone deals with in their own way. But it was interesting, like for a lot of people, there was a lot of, I don't know, not benefits, but the pandemic setting in the way it did made me, and I know me and Brett had a bunch of conversations where it was like, okay, well, maybe we should get after making this record because we got to do something, you know what I mean? And like, we keep our bubbles small, you know, me and Brett get together once a week. Like he's in my family bubble. It is what it is. We're working on an album. You know, he's in the back of the room singing. I'm up here facing this way. Sometimes there's masks. It is what it is. But I think in a lot of ways the pandemic was like, okay, well, we're not going to do any touring. My touring got shut down. So I'm like, I'm home. I know I'm home for the rest of the year. Let's jump in the studio. So then all of a sudden the schedule really starts taking shape. And we're going to do a day at Winterland on this day. Then we're doing overdubs at your place on this day and this day. Then we're back at Winterland. Then we're doing the video. And, you know, as this whole thing has come together, I think you guys have been able to, even within the pandemic, get some stuff done, see some results already, and just really be enjoying it. So that the whole shit is just snowballing. Whether it's the making of the record, whether it's the starting the social media and the promotion and just starting to get active, like it seems like it's fun for everyone. And there's been a lot of great feedback right out of the gate for a brand new band who hasn't been able to go out and play a show even if they wanted to, even if they, you know, if their life depended on it, you couldn't go book a gig right now. So it's
No.
pretty cool, man. You know,
We've been fortunate. We've been the benefactors of that part of it. I mean, because the pandemic makes you kind of realize what's important to you. And, you know, one of the things I learned about all this is like, you know, yeah, it shouldn't just all be like sweat, labor, and hard work. But if you do the work and you put in the hours, like you're going to get the results. And if you don't, you don't. And
right.
Fuzzrd became such a thing, like where we're fortunate to have each other during this, to have the camaraderie, because God knows we don't get to do too many things that are human, right? Like, where have you gone? What
Right.
have you done?
These are the big outlets. These are the big session, going to a rehearsal. It's like, all right, I'm actually going to get out of the house. You really, A, you really look forward to it. And B, like you said, I think you really get to see how much value that's always had to you. Like, man, I really like getting out of the house and playing rock and roll with my friends on whatever night. You know what I mean? It's a big deal, man. And I think that the pandemic,
it's awesome. It's
it just
awesome.
is.
Somebody who's stuck at home, you know,
Right.
for, you know, an entire week, you know, and been that the whole year. So
Right, and working from home, and right, like yeah, I almost never leave the house either. But yeah, whether it's Brett coming over for a session, whether it's Tuesday night and Brad and Joe coming over, it's like, you know, we're living in a world where it's like, whoa, activity, other people, all right, you know.
The
it's
schedule
strange.
for Fuzzrd is it's on all the time. Like while Eric and I are doing this here with you, the rhythm section is rehearsing. You know, I mean, they're done now, but
I love that the drummer and bass player go down to the space and run the songs and run cover songs and just hang out and just play together, just the two of them, while there's no guitar players there. That is so awesome to me, and like people talk about it. It's so true. Whether it's usually the statement's usually like you're only as good as your drummer, but you got to tag your bass player right on in there too. Like the fact that your rhythm section's like, man, those guys can't make it on Sunday morning, but we can. Let's go play for an hour, and you know, like how cool, you know, like just into playing, into it for the right reasons, just because they want to go play their instruments and turn up their stuff and rock out and get better together and bounce off of each other, you know, like.
And that's what it is. Everybody's into it, and everybody wants to do it. Those guys will go play, you know, and it shows. Eric and I walk in, we just fire up our amps.
I bet it shows.
It's like boom, and it's because of them, you know.
Totally.
Oh, you guys are great. No, if the drummer and the bass player are awesome, the band is awesome.
And if they can play those songs in a way where they're into it without you guys at all. You know what I mean? No big guitars in the room, and just them hearing the nuances of the hi-hat and the bass drum, and you know what I mean? Like, I bet they learn a lot. I bet they, you know, again, a rhythm section, just like within the band, like the 2-piece, the 4-piece, whatever, like you can all practice at home all day long, but there's nothing like playing together. It's different, you know? You can play guitar for 3 hours at home. Yeah, right. And then things start getting real weird when your bass player is like, no, man, that's supposed to be a D right there. And you're like, uh-oh, these guys are starting to practice
on their
more
toes. But I think that's the thing for me. I feel like I'm a kid again. I rehearse with Fuzzrd, you know, 3 times a week. Eric comes in on Tuesdays and Sundays. I'm coming in, you know, 1 extra day on top of that. Those guys are playing
another
5
day
days.
on top of that. They're playing 5 a week. Yeah.
Yeah. So I might peel out, like I have that extra floating day where I usually go record with Jeremy on Thursdays. I mean, we've kind of made, you know, quote unquote professional schedule.
It's kind of a weekly calendar for Fuzzrd, more or less. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And because of the pandemic, we realized, whoa, this is a chance to live our art and just do it every single day. And like, wow, that's a blessing, really. Right. And, the other thing I think that we're doing right with Fuzzrd that we, you know, it takes a team, right? You have to realize your own shortcomings. You can't do everything yourself. And a lot of band guys fall into the trap where, you know, maybe it's just pride of authorship or, you know, wanting to be like, I'm the guy that touches this or do that or whatever. We got a team of dudes with this band, and we are grateful for the people that are working with us, whether it's you, Brad, you know, heading up everything we're doing with merch. You know, we've got a creative writer. We've got a video person that we work with, and it takes all those people.
Takes a village
to create the content. And Eric and I, run the social media, and it's just a daily thing. But once you get into a rhythm, it's easy,
Yeah,
because
right.
it gets to a point where you got so much stuff, you're just like, what? You've got things and you don't run out. But for us, there's a commitment to put out high quality content that's not just junk, and do it every single day, with hopefully not driving people too crazy, but letting people know, like, we're here, and then keep that momentum going.
Right.
Things are going good now. We put out a second single in 4 weeks. Hopefully we'll keep building.
Right.
And by the time summer comes, like, boom, we're ready,
Yeah, right. With an album, and hey, when shows turn back on, you guys will be ready to rip with a whole album ready to go, and the whole, like, Brad's got a merch set up. I mean, it's just add people, pretty much, right? It's right.
But you can't do it without a team. I mean, you can be a rock band, and I mean, I guess you can, but if people have to have roofs over their heads too. So
Yeah, right, right, and right.
So unless it's your thing all day long, which most bands starting out, they can't do that. Like, you can't do it all. You got to have people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't. I think most people know, but some don't. Like, you don't get to start a band and just start making money. You don't make money usually ever. Maybe you get lucky and you start actually making money, right? But it takes money to create a band, to get a record together when you're not on a record label, and when you're brand new, So it takes a lot of
money
work
to make money.
Right. It takes money to build a business and just to do the thing. But it's cool that you guys have really seemed to find the balance between all the business, kind of like you said, not a rigid schedule, but a schedule, a good plan. Everyone's stuff is happening every week. There's a kind of a whole team involved, but what am I trying to say? Like, while there is a great machine, there's also like the thing like Rob and Scott going down there to play. Like, that's not on the calendar. They do that because they love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're adding even more hours to the Fuzzrd week because they want to go play, and that's cool. I think that I don't know. A lot of bands forget, and we say it around here all the time. Like, don't worry too much about the destination, because like, there may not be one. It's all about the journey. It's all about what you're doing right now and tomorrow and the next day, and enjoying that, because when it's all said and done, that will be what is left. Whatever that turns into, that's what will be left. Like, putting the cart before the horse, dreaming about all the things that you cannot control. They're just, I don't know. I don't know.
It's all bullshit. I mean,
Right.
And that's another pandemic
That's
thing,
right.
that just tells you, like, live in the moment and make it count right now.
I think so. I think the pandemic did that to me a little. It just reminds you, like, oh, right, this whole thing that's built is way more fragile than you think.
Yeah.
And, we just got grabbed and shaken up and gone like, okay, the whole thing can crumble, or your world can get shut off for a year or plus, or and counting. So I guess focus on the things you can control. Focus on the paper trail and leaving whatever art you want to make behind, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, man. Like,
Right.
this last year
As
reminded you, right.
Yeah.
Who's
As
that?
somebody who is in this industry, behind the scenes too, along with what we do, once you take live music away from people, you kind of really have to go back to, your training wheels of putting the cans on and listening to music that way, or vinyl, or writing music on your own, basically. And for a band like us to kind of come out with like an angsty, heavy side when people are pissed off about how this world has kind of become, may it be great or bad, this is a good thing. And it's exciting to see all the other bands that will be doing the same thing, in my opinion.
I agree.
From talking to millions of musicians all the time, every day. So,
I agree.
I mean, there's going to be a renaissance of good music coming out. There's no question,
A new 90s, in my opinion.
I think and hope so. I mean,
Yes.
I heard someone say, and it makes sense, like, when they talk about like the Roaring 20s or all of these like great booms where it was a great time, those always come right after a depression. This has been, now that we're over a year in, this qualifies as a depression. So whenever this lifts, you have to assume that there will be a surge of new art and new music, and there will be a surge of people, I like to hope and think, that cannot wait to get out and consume those things and get, not only back to where life used to be, but hopefully even better than it was, because they've learned a little bit about the other side of the coin over this last year. And it sucks. It sucks that we can't go to shows and do the things we want to do. And, it sucks that dudes who have dedicated their whole lives to being musicians or working in the industry or on crews or whatever, and have already had a really rocky life because of that, now their doors are closed completely, so it's tough, man. But I think that there is going to be a sonic boom of awesome when this is all said and done, and I look forward to it for sure.
Yeah, things like this institute change, right? Like a pandemic can reshape culture, and it has done it in the past with SARS and, online shopping versus brick and mortar. And, if you think back about how things have changed decade to decade, we may simply just be looking at a global change with the way live music even comes back. And that's okay. I think we just have to, be the water and be able to move with it.
Yeah.
And
there may be a new normal, right? But we're ready for that, whatever that is, right? Whatever
it is, let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's play. Let's figure out how to get healthy and get the vaccines into people or whatever that takes to, I don't know, man. People are getting itchy. I miss playing shows. I think about how many I've already missed, how many I could potentially still miss, and it's nerve-wracking, because it's a big part of what we all do. And, Brad goes to more shows than anybody I know. So I can't imagine.
It's been a long year.
I mean, your free time level has changed drastically. I don't know what you're doing, but I don't probably want to know what you're doing.
He's shipping those Fuzzrd shirts.
Yeah, that's what he's doing,
shirts,
right?
yeah.
He's folding and shipping. Thank you for those orders. Keep them coming.
I don't want to. It just feels like a great time. We have the video too, and people are talking about they're listening to the music now and.
Oh, cool! People are out searching.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
Cool,
Do you guys want to rip this video for the people right now, and then come back?
What do the people want to do? I don't know. I'm not. I'm just kind of running my mouth like I always do.
No, it's all good. I mean,
everybody's excited about the music.
Well, let's do this. Let's point towards playing the video. Let's talk about it a little bit. We did the song out at Winterland. You shot the video out at Winterland. I don't know, talk about a little bit of that experience, whether it be the recording or the video or both. We kind of did it simultaneously. We recorded during the day and then video shoot that night, essentially.
Yeah, well, I would say, but Monster Carnival, chronologically, it's different. This is the second video we shot. So there's some things about it where I feel like, and nobody's seen the first, but they can go see clips of Life Turned Black, right? The band got better at shooting the video because we had a chance to experience the first one and, learn from, what you did in the past. And so I don't know, it was just, couple hours of just doing takes of the song and trying to, keep things as cool and real as possible. But I don't know if I answered the question.
I remember the first time we went into the studio together, the four of us. I don't know if Monster Carnival was one of the tracks that would have been kind of the stems, or at least getting a click pattern. I remember that day I showed up and then I double booked myself because I actually had a gig.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So this would have been prior to 2020. Us first time going in there. Mm-hmm. So then Monster Carnival kind of came full circle. Was that too early of a song or no?
No, the first time we went to the studio with Jeremy with Fuzzrd, a session of the four of us, those songs haven't even been touched. So this was, now we're not answering anybody's question. I'm completely lost.
No, that's
I was just trying to backtrack to see if that was the time that happened, the beginning of us going into Monster Carnival, but I guess not.
No, well, I think.
Good story, bro.
Yeah, good story, bro.
No, I was saying earlier, and it is true. So we didn't do the thing where you book the studio for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever and go in and make a record top to bottom. We've done a couple days here and there where we go to Winterland and we work on drums for a handful of songs, guitars and bass on those, and then we bring them back to my house. We've also gone to Flowers and done that. We've been back and forth to Winterland half a dozen times over the last 14, 16 months or whatever. We've been chipping away at it. All the drums are done now.
Yeah.
And it is hard to keep track because I know like there's been a day at Winterland where we did do a half day of recording and then like, or a full day of recording and like 2 hours of video, like Brett said, that like kind of on the end of the night. They have put out a couple clips from that. That was the first real video, kind of like making a demo for a video.
Yeah.
And going like, okay, here's what we can do, here's what we like, here's what we don't like. Then later brought the same camera people back with more time to Winterland. We did record some drums that day for a different song entirely. Right. And got some other studio work done and then had the video people come in. We moved the shit around a little bit and you made a proper video from Monster Carnival, which is the first single.
Yeah, and one of the things, like, for sure with Fuzzrd, and at least for me, is to just come to the realization that, you know, you're making a product and marketing the product is equally important. You know, a lot of people will finish that audio or get it to the end of the road and spend all their time and all their energy on that. I'm not afraid to say, hey, we're going to book the recording studio. We're not going to play a note. Like, we're going to work on this video because that tells the story for that song. And that's how you get it out to people. So,
right. You got to get it out into the world. I talk to artists about it all the time, man. And whatever the scope is, like, it bums me out so much when someone writes a great song and whether I record it or someone else records it, however I hear it, I find out about it. I appreciate the work. And then it's like, well, what next? And it's like, well, I just put it in a drawer and no one ever hears it. Like, or, you know, no presentation, no, like, yeah, I love, you know, you guys are like, okay, song is awesome. We got a record on the way. Time for a video. Like, presentation at this point, as we all know, the YouTube, the video component, just the getting to know the fact that people can actually get to know you guys, see a clip of Brett or Eric just playing guitar, just ripping a lead, or out at a music shop trying out vintage guitars and fire up a video. And it's like, again, comes back to that, like, we all don't get to go hang out with each other very much right now. So if you get to hang out with Eric at a guitar store on Instagram for 15 seconds, why wouldn't you? You know, like, it's just, it's cool.
That's what we did on Saturday. We're having fun, and it's automatic. You know, that stuff's not planned.
Right. But it is important to share the music. You guys create the music. That's important. That next step, which is as important, or if not more important, like, as we well know, this stuff will all be here well after we're gone. If we share it, if we never show it to anybody, it leaves when we go, you know, like, so I don't know. I like to reiterate it all the time, whether it's a demo, whether you're a band in a studio, whether you're a kid at home with a laptop, if you make something cool, put that shit up on Bandcamp or SoundCloud and just let the world have an opportunity to hear it if they want to, you know?
Well, one of the things, you know, you've always pushed me on, you know, you push me hard in the studio, but never too hard. It makes
I'll
me
push
better.
you too hard once in a while.
I appreciate the ball busting. I'll take it. Makes my solo sound fucking good sometimes. And I would say, like, letting the lo-fi stuff hang out, and not being afraid to go into your rehearsal space. Eric and I do it, and we spend a little bit of time making it look good, but
it's all
we're not
presentation.
afraid to stick an iPhone in front of ourselves and do it. And I think I'm more comfortable knowing we have things that are more produced. So we have kind of two power lanes, right? We have the videos that go with the single that are a little more put together, and then this is us. Like, this is us, you know. We went to El Diablo. We hit a couple music stores with masks on last week, and Eric's playing a cool 50s double cut 59.
Right. Still kind of want a price on that
look
one.
good. Let's go. You know, that's how it works, you know.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think it's cool.
It's a bad place to put two addicted guitar players, or, like, you know, guys that are addicted to playing guitar and buying them, you know, so especially that.
It's so bad. I walked into the store. He's like, we walked in. He said, hey, I think I've got a guitar you're going to like. And then we leave. And Eric's called me back going, dude, I think I need that guitar. After I just called you and said, Jeremy, I think they got a guitar you're going to use.
It's hilarious. And it gets bad. It gets bad just because the addiction gets bad. Everyone, you know, like all three of us, Joe as well. Well, you know, you're buying.
You
gear,
want
you're buying
every
basses, you're buying
color
keyboards.
after a while.
You just like you said, you guys walk into the store. We've only been into that store a handful of times, but we've done a little bit of business over there. The first time me and Brett walked in there, he came with me just as a sidekick. I was going there specifically for a pedal, had never been there. Asked Petrusik if he wanted to roll along. He ended up buying a Les Paul. So so you then not only is I guess my point is not only is the internal addiction bad, but the dealers start to know. Like you said, so you guys walk in, and before you even get a chance to see the thing on the wall, he's like, "Hey guys, I got something you might like." I got dudes like that too that work at guitar stores that call me because sometimes you can't really go to stores.
Yeah,
I got dudes
glorified drug dealers, man.
No, dude, totally
Glorified drug dealers.
I got dudes call me up and go, "Hey man, this thing just came in. No one's seen it yet. I'm about to hit you with 2 pictures. Get your wallet ready." And it's just like, they know I'm gonna have to have it.
But I have found a low cost, mainline to fix that, scratch that itch. It's getting all those guitars plecked, man.
Right. Big
new black for me.
Big time shout out to KJ over at Twin Town Guitars. Twin Town got a pleck machine a little over a year, maybe 2 years ago now. I've had a handful of my basses done. Brett is completely a believer and is basically one by one taking everything he's got over there.
If it's not plecked, it's worthless.
Right. Hey, man, there's your commercial.
Lump of wood here.
That's your commercial right there.
Yeah.
If it's not plecked, it's worthless.
Come pleck all the now and for sponsorship.
I will. If I can plug for him for a second, I'll say this because I came to your place a few days ago and we tracked, and I don't think once you turned to me and said, check your tuning. And one thing about Fuzzrd, you guys can hear it, everybody is listening, we tune low. We tune low with Les Pauls. Yep. We're in drop C, and I'm playing with 10s.
Right.
I'm not putting heavy ass
10s, drop C, not baritones. It is
12s.
Right. Well, we've all had There's been discussions. Believe me, I busted Brett's balls about not only string gauges but making them tune back up to at least D or whatever. But the pleck thing really kind of changing the game because Brett is being able to get away with playing 10s, and he plays his guitars set up low. They're buttery.
Like
you can breathe on it, and it might fret a note if you blow hard enough.
When I bought my first custom shop, man, it came with 10s, and I was using 12s and 11s up to that for probably 6 years. As soon as I felt the 10s on a custom shop, there was something about the way the neck was bound and set up, and here I am, same deal.
Yeah.
It's the tone, the Rick Beato video. I mean, I got bit by that. He's right. I mean, Iommi, the Soundgarden dude, all the greats. If you think about Gibbons or Van Halen, I'm going guitar junkie.
Very light, but true. A lot of guys using very, very light strings.
Dude, nines with a steel pick or a nickel.
A lot of attack, but control. And then if it's plecked, that string goes in a circle and it's not hitting things and intervals are more.
It's really amazing, right? The pleck machine is really amazing. I've had a handful of my basses done. Like I said, I know John Fields, who sometimes watches the show, who has a studio in town and has quite a few guitars. He sent all of them. Because he records them all day, and he's been recording records his whole life. And the more you make records, the more astute to fine tuning and problems you get, and you get to a point where out of tune is just unacceptable, so it's he did, same thing. I don't know how much it costs per guitar, but it's all right, here's 4. When those 4 are done, I'll bring you 3 more, and here's 2, and just he did them all, and it makes them all usable, and you plug them in and you get them in tune and stretch them out once and get them sitting right, and all the way up the neck, almost any interval position you can think of. It's sweet. Yep.
Yeah, and I think even if it's $3,000 to $5,000 custom shop Gibson or whatever it is, or just your workhorse, it's worth the investment because that's your tool and you're recording, and it's going to save you time, So
totally agree, man. I tell people, I compare it to this, people got no problem spending $300 or $400 on a pedal, and that pedal makes your guitar distorted or delayed or whatever. Why not take that $300 or $400 and make your instrument 40% better than it used to be?
100%.
right? Or whatever that percentage is. But like, it takes your guitar and wakes it up in a way, like you said, where maybe someone that wouldn't necessarily notice you strum an open chord and someone else goes, holy shit, that thing sounds good, because there's no wobble in the chord. It's just, it rings like a bell, you know?
These guys know, because at practices, whatever, there's a couple songs I play the big open C chord, and I'm always just pointing. Listen to
Right,
that.
look at that. No shake, no nothing. And again, tuned way down with tens and everything else, right? And just, right, yeah, it's amazing. I recommend it, especially if you are recording often, and you know, and whatever, and guitar is your thing or whatever, or bass. Get it plecked. There's a lot, no knock. There's a lot of great repairmen and luthiers out there who can put a great hand dress on a guitar and make it play amazing. But the pleck machine is just, you know, it's different. It's lasers. It's
right.
the tolerances of. It's just, I don't know. No human with no set of Dan Erlewine flip down goggles can see what a laser can see. Period.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not until Elon Musk starts putting chips in people, which is coming pretty quick.
And
then
then you're
maybe.
not fighting the guitar when you're tracking, so you're playing like you, and you're not
You have fun.
compensating.
You have fun. You don't have to be delicate on certain chords or squeeze a certain chord a certain way to try to get it in tune, and you can just kind of enjoy it. Right. It's a big difference.
Fun.
It really is.
Yeah.
We do have a question.
Fire it up.
Our friend Ruby wants to know what inspired you to write Monster Carnival.
Oh, great question.
That is a fantastic question. I'd
All
like
right.
to know.
So here's how that worked for me. Jeremy, for the longest in Downtread, I was always like the 2-amp guy, right? And you know, I always kind of tried to wean myself off of like 2 different preamp sounds and just play through one head and let it buck. And I did that for a lot, for the very beginning of Fuzzrd. And one night I was like, you know what, screw this. And I went back down to the rehearsal space. None of you guys were there. I pulled out 2 412 cabs. I took my JCM 800, Bogner modded, the Snorkeler mod one, and I took my other Bogner, and I, set up a dual mono rig, put a little delay on one side. I just got this fucking ripping guitar sound, and it was just me in front of those 2 cabs, and I heard that stereo imaging again, and that was the riff. I mean, that riff came out, and for me, I'm a guitar player first, which is, I love singing. I love the process, and I love being in the studio. But that riff came together, and some of our songs we write together as a group from the ground up, and then some of them I just demo and put together at home, and I just do it in GarageBand, thinking about how Scott would play, knowing Eric's going to do a cool part over this or whatever.
But you go back to you hear the sound of lightning.
Yes.
You have a story behind that.
Right.
as
Talk
well,
about
too.
this. Talk about the lyrics, my friend.
So the lyrics, for me, the lyrics, like all of us, maybe not all of us, but some of us have kind of a volatile, kind of screwed up dark side that we keep hidden away from the rest of the world. And every now and then, you might be lucky enough to meet somebody who can kind of peer into your demented soul and love you for it anyway. And really, it's about, finding
poetry.
somebody to embrace
way
you
to
for
bring
your
that in.
messed upness. If
That was
makes any
beautiful.
sense.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense, man. Yeah.
But I will say this too. There's another thing with Fuzzrd, that story is, it's self-reflection, whatever. I'm kind of a nut. I'm an altruistic
I
dude,
know.
a family guy. I love my dog, but I got a dark side too. Who doesn't, right?
Me.
I think you don't. Scott comes up with these crazy song titles.
Scott is killing it with the song. Yeah, with the song titles. Always great titles. So not always necessarily looped right into the lyrics, but sometimes inspire the lyrics. Because you're right, Scott, the drummer of the band, he's got a list of great titles.
He has.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
feeds me the list. I
Yeah.
have the list. I sit down with my guitar. I start working up a track. I make it like a Def Leppard record before anybody even hears it, because I get to do that.
Right.
And when I'm looking for a working title for the song, I'll just kind of open up his list. I'll listen to the music, and I'll look at all his crazy titles, and I'll
Sure.
go, that sounds like that.
Yeah, hey, it's a place to start. It's a seed.
So,
And sometimes that's the hardest part of lyrics is that first something. Sometimes having that title, wherever that invokes in you, like I said, you might not, I don't think you're writing about monsters literally riding merry-go-rounds. Maybe you
but-
are, but
Well, it was that simple. I grabbed that song because it sounded like that. And for me, it's the Monster Carnival in your own mind, right? Like, listen to the lyrics. Whatever I'm saying may kind of make sense. But, it didn't send me on the road till I had that spark. And Scott's titles they're great.
I love it.
He's got great sparks, so.
I just had a good stoner Twilight Zone-esque video concept for when the major label comes in and wants to reshoot the video for Monster Carnival. So it's a carnival, literally, like old school creepy. Eric's gonna like this. And all the freaks and the whatever are the ones walking through the carnival, and every time they get around the corner to the weird next scary thing, it's just one of you guys playing your guitar.
Love it.
You guys are the carnival, and the freaks are coming to see you. It's the Twilight Zone.
Oh, I like it.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he is our modern day Snidely Whiplash, too.
Right.
So
And plus, Eric has that mustache, and he likes scary movies and whatnot. So he's, he can make you guys scary.
We
You guys are kind of scary.
we touched on this earlier a little bit, but a question came across asking you guys about some of your influences.
Big lists. Go ahead, though. Top five from each of you. Let's do that.
Boom.
Either one can go first, or you can ping pong.
I'll go first. First and foremost, the reason I play guitar, Angus Young. So AC/DC, that's the first thing I heard on the radio. So that Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, very classic. Also stuff I grew up on right away. Definitely Failure. That was something I discovered later in my life that was a big, important part of me that I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of. I can't say enough. And even the guitar work in all those different bands speaks for itself. Probably anything Slash does.
Yeah.
Huge guitar Les Paul fan. I mean, that's why I have a Les Paul. And probably Sean Morgan from Seether. Another cool, really like grungy side of me that I dig, and great songwriter. So I mean, that comes from everything, I think. So
Is he a 7-string player? Joe asked, and I wasn't sure. Or was he the Seether guy?
Ooh,
Are they 7-string?
No.
No.
Just got Schecter, so you thought maybe it was a 7-string. It's got that big headstock on it.
That's right.
So fire away, Brett.
here's where you get the juxtaposition.
That's what I was saying, right?
That just works so great. For me, super simple. I'll start with guitar. My top big three: Michael Schenker, UFO early days; George Lynch, who was one of my childhood heroes, who I got to know later in life. Wound up playing on the first Down Tread record. Randy Rhoads, without a question. And then I'm gonna kind of go into vocals. Chris Cornell, top, just everything.
Unbelievable voice, man. From the early work to the late work. That I just recently heard his cover of "Patience." I made you listen to it, and just again, just his voice is just incredible, man. He could sing anything.
His voice, his lyrics.
He's a good songwriter.
His lyric writing is so
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But killer tone, killer voice. Like he's one of those. I love that. Like he could sing the phone book. I love that.
Yeah, that was a big loss for.
Yes,
for
it was. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I got like 6 I'd fit into that last spot. If I'm.
I know. I just thought of one that I forgot of.
Go ahead, man. You could put a bonus round. You could put a honorable.
Jerry Cantrell, man.
Sure.
Yeah, Cantrell. See, and that's like Eric and I meet on so many things. Like Angus Young. I mean, when I was a little kid, like before I started getting into UFO, like my first record was Rush Hemispheres, which fucked up my timing, which is why you guys have a problem with me. I listened to too much Rush.
Too much
Phenomenal.
Canadian.
Like Alex Lifeson's amazing. They were an amazing band. But then it was like Aerosmith, Double I Bootleg, and all the AC/DC. And I remember like AC/DC, and this is where he and I really connect. I went to this private school where you'd have lunch and you could do whatever the hell you wanted, right? and I'd run across.
Of course
the tables,
you did.
You know, well, no, I mean, it was a hippie-ish thing.
I'm just
right?
giving you shit, man.
Yeah. And like, I remember just running across the lunchroom tables with Highway to Hell playing on the record player there, and like that got me into wanting to do it. You know,
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
I was just thinking another juxtaposition is like you went to private school and Eric's not allowed within 300 yards of private schools.
No. Fuck yourself.
What's
Yeah, but let me say, it wasn't like
give me the top five mustaches.
Private school. You know, I know you're busting my balls.
Yeah, I am. I am busting both of your balls.
Thing.
Dude, you have any idea how many Instagram bots I have all over me now because of this?
Oh, no way, dude.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, we get along on that, but I like Rob Halford, man. You know, I like Rob Halford. I like Chris Cornell, and just like
you know, another one that you brought up a lot that was interesting to me that actually you brought up to me before I knew the guys was another big vocal influence, and I hear it in your voice, is Perner.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd hear you say you hear it in my voice.
I mean, I can tell that there's some tone. I know we've also had conversations about it. Like I said, we had these conversations before I knew him, but there's definitely like I think occasional melody choices, but more so just in some of the tone of like the middle top end of your voice. Like I don't know, I hear some of that. He's got a lot of rip and tear and character and a lot of throat in his voice, and I know that that's a big part of your sound too. I don't know.
Brave Dancers Union was when I started singing. That's what I latched onto when I decided to become a singer.
Right, because you played guitar in bands as like just kind of the gunslinger lead guitar player, no vocals for quite a while, right?
Yeah, most of my life.
Right.
It wasn't until 57 Stitch, which was I don't know when the hell that was, like 90s or something.
Right. When I first met you somewhere.
I just decided like I needed to just do it on my own because I was sick of dealing with lead singer syndrome, right? I mean, maybe that's why the band's working.
Right.
No offense
because
to all
now
the lead
you
singers.
have the syndrome, so you can't recognize it anymore because it's now in you.
Right. Well, I'm doing my job then.
Right.
I latched onto that album in particular. Was breaking at that point, and I just loved his tone. Like on that record, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Figured I'd just record the vocals and learn how to do it live later, and that's what I did.
I get it. I mean, that is kind of, same basic story for me. Like I played drums in pretty much everything up through high school. Then after high school, started playing again drums in a more serious college band, ended up switching to guitar, played behind people for a while, and same thing, just got sick of being in other people's bands and started writing my own songs. And didn't really, I don't know if you necessarily, like when you first set out, I don't know if you set out, I don't know how it started for you. For me, I was just writing tunes. I've always had a home recording studio, as you know, so I started just doing some demos on my own. I really had no plan on starting Attention or having my own band or not being a drummer. Like I wasn't really looking to make like, okay, now I'm a guitar player, singer. But I did start writing songs because I wanted to. And some of the guys I was playing with in other bands were like, these songs are great. And maybe this would be more fun than that other band we were doing. Maybe you should sing. We get a different drummer. And it was kind of same thing. Like, you know what? I know, I'll give it a try. I've never fancied myself a singer. Still don't. But recorded and released, I don't know, 60 or 70 songs where I'm singing. So something happened,
Well, you're a freak, man. You're good at every instrument, and
I'm okay at everything.
Better than everybody that you produce. So I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it. It's an interesting dynamic that, again, I don't know. Me and Brett have made a lot of recordings and records over the years, and part of that is like, there's a certain trust thing that happens, which is good, but also sometimes daunting. Like Brett will come in and say, like, sometimes he's got something totally done. Sometimes he's got something 70% done intentionally because he's like, I know you're going to want to tweak a word or two words or a note in the melody or something's going to happen. So I haven't gone all the way to finished because I don't want to be so married to something that I'm worried about the change. I know the change is coming. I look forward to the change, and also kind of like I expect the change. So it puts a little weight on me. Like, oh shit, man, he wants me to, I don't know, find something within his thing that I can tweak that makes him like his thing better. Now. You know, that's part of the trick or whatever. But we've gotten good at that. Like, you do leave room. I think 9 times out of 10 I come through with that extra idea, and hopefully it lifts up the part, the solo, the vocal, the whatever the hell we're working on. That's the producer, band, songwriter dynamic relationship when it's working, you know, when it's working right, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a question or a statement, but
no, it's poetry. I sometimes finish a song like where the story is just so on lockdown, because maybe, you know.
Oh, sure, it's happened. There's a song on this record that's going to be out called Demons that was written, signed, sealed, delivered. The demo vocal was so great that we both looked at each other and said, no matter how we rebuild this track, this is our lead vocal. So it has to stay, whatever we got to do.
It was a personal story, and it happened, and that's the way it was. There was no need to change it.
Lightning strike. Keep it.
It was so home, and I was fortunate to grab it out of the sky and see it. But like
also smart to recognize it. A lot of people would go, "Oh, no, it's cool," but like, we'll do the thing. We'll set up the mic. You'll sing it 1,000 times. We'll beat it. Like, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. You probably wouldn't. Like, it's cool to be like, this was a great one pass. I wrote it. I sang it. It meant the most to me right then in the moment. I want it to stay. That's a cool catch, and like you said, that's like leaving the dirt in. That's not being too worried about polishing out every nook and cranny. Like, keep the human connection. You were connected to that vocal. Leave it on the record. You know,
and being able to sell it home, I think, is like delivering it. Like, and unless you experience that feeling, like that song, Eric, you know, this new one we're working on. Break the Line, after you heard the vocal or whatever, you were like, I think this is one of my new favorites after I heard the lyrics or whatever. And
that song really shaped up.
That song worked for me. And that was one where Jeremy, I did leave a couple things open where I was like, you know what? If I just kind of walk in and go, hey man, like this word right here, this right, he did his thing. It all came together.
Literally, like, that's what it is. It's like what if weave was a we? And what if the way you end the chorus on the second phrase, you do the same the first time instead of the lower version? It's like, it's these little moves. It's taking the puzzle pieces you've made and going like, shuffle these up a little bit. What do you think of this? Maybe a word changes. Maybe occasionally I think I've written a line or whatever when you've been at a stumbling point, and I'm just like, I don't, you know,
Well, and usually that one line gives the whole story a different context, and it, like, you know, than the rest of the world. It resonates with the rest of the world.
Well, it's that thing, though, too, right? Where it's the first thing within the song that came out of not your brain. So obviously it's going to hit your brain a little differently. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to collaborate. Like I said, when it's working right, that's the fun stuff about making records, is actually really ping-ponging off of each other and going, that's a cool idea. Like, Brett comes in with an idea. Maybe I tweak it. Maybe he takes my tweak and retweaks that, just that next little bit, and we walk it up a couple notches, and when we walk out 2 hours later with a lead vocal that's now done, we're like, fuck yeah, dude, that's how you do it, you know. That's a great day in the studio when you do those, you know. Sometimes there's hard days and nothing works and whatever, but you try to have a short memory and get back to the good ones and ride the wave, you know.
And I remember with that Break the Line, and this is a thing that lets me know we hit something good. When we listen back to that, I remember you liked the vocal, like the lead vocal on the chorus.
Yep,
and
right away.
When I listen back to the song and I hear the vocal come in the chorus, I remember looking at you and saying, this song sounds like how I feel. And that's what's important, is to portray that feeling that comes from inside of you.
I remember that. You came back and heard the vocal
that or understand it. And when it does that, like, to me, that's when it's really good. You know,
I agree.
Or at least good for who you are.
I also partially think half of that is because on this track in particular, I decided to triple Brett's lead vocal, and I think that how Brett feels on a day-to-day basis is just tripled. Right? Yeah, right. Guitar, voice, just whatever, just triple it.
Like the coffee.
Right, and I'm there. Right.
Triple extra shots.
Right, whatever it is, just triple it, and I'm stoked, and turn it up. Right. Well, yeah, awesome, dudes. I mean, this was a great hang. It's almost 10. I think maybe we'll say goodbye to you guys, play the video, and then button this thing up. Unless, I mean, feel free to promote anything else you want to say or put a button on it. Like, great hang. Thanks for coming on. You know.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Great hang. Thanks for having us, Eric. What do you got?
Yeah, man, you're doing a great thing, and I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Thanks,
you.
man. Yeah, we didn't really go behind the scenes on the session too much, but that's all right. It's just as much fun to talk about the how and why you got there, and you know, and the whole process between, you know, writing the song to recording it, and the dynamic that we all have. Knowing, you know, like I said, I've known Brett 13, 14, 15 years. I've now known Eric maybe 5 years. We work together a lot. We, you know, and when you work on each other's music, you really get to know each other. And when you're not working on music, you're talking about your problems and shit, and you're hanging out and being buddies. So thanks for coming on, you know.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
guys.
us.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, dudes. I'm going to cut your audio off. That was Eric and Brett from Fuzzrd. Thanks for coming on once again. I hope you enjoyed having those dudes on. You know, always fun to have a couple new characters in the house. I think that we should show you this video. So this is the final product, song mixed, recorded at Winterland mostly, then additional overdubs, vocals, bells and whistles here. I mixed it here at the house, mastered by Greg Ryerson over at Rareform. Unfortunately, I do not remember the video guys' names and stuff. You don't know that stuff, you Brad. Sorry, video guys. We're
Leave
audio,
your stuff in
we're
the
an audio
comments.
show around here. You know, start a video show and talk about what you did. Should we roll it? We got her queued up, Joseph?
Yeah.
All
Here
right,
we
check
go.
it out. Monster Carnival video.
Hear the sound of lightning. Come inside, don't be afraid. Wind outside is frightening.
All right, all right, all right. So there you go. That's the Fuzzrd video. Yeah, man.
Good hang.
Good hang. Really great guys. You know, like I said, those guys they come over here one or two at a time. Maybe Brett and Eric. Go ahead.
Cloverleaf audio visual.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right. There it was. The bumper
just
was on
came
there.
on the video,
Good,
yep.
Good. Yep. And they did a great job. I kind of sat and hung out there and watched a lot of that happen, and I thought they did a great job with it. But yeah, Fuzzrd guys are good dudes. Work with them a lot in the studio. Worked with Brett a lot over the years. They're also the type of dudes who might have a Saturday afternoon barbecue and just go hang out. You know, good dudes.
I'd love to barbecue right now.
I know it's been a while. It's been a while for all of that. And A, it's been cold. B, you can't really get together like that. No, but we do that, man. We go over to Brett's house. The whole band is there. Bring the wives. I'll show up with Karin. Brett throws a lot of great stuff on the grill or whatever. Nice backyard. We hang out. It's like, you know, it's not all business. Like there's a lot of just hanging out and being friends too. Not always, but sometimes, you know. So cool stuff. So I'm glad they came on the show. I hope you like the hard rock thing. We're going to show you a little bit of everything around here.
A lot of fans of the tune here.
Cool,
Everybody
good,
likes it.
yeah. I mean, I like to experience as much as I can as a mixer as well as just a music listener or whatever. But you know, I just got sent a tune recently, and the guy who asked me about it, as we were talking about, he's like, "You into mixing this? This is kind of not your normal thing or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely," because it's not my everyday normal thing. I'm like super excited to mix it. The track I'm talking about doesn't really have I don't think there's any guitars. Might have been a little wah guitar or something in there. I played the song earlier. I don't think I can talk about what it is. Not trying to be that guy, but just, you know. But yeah, so it's one of those things, like totally different style. I can't wait to mix. It's going to be fun because it's not, you know, I often mix drums, bass, guitars, keyboards, very straightforward rock sounding things. I like that stuff. I'm not knocking it, but it is exciting to get something a little different. And we've done a lot of the jangly stuff. Fuzzrd is a lot heavier, a little more active, modern rock, whatever. We're going to, like I said, try to show you a little bit of everything we work on. Keep it real around here as we do. I'm thinking next week what we're going to do is do a little mix rundown, maybe also a Zoom call. We'll probably get Ted on a Zoom, huh?
I think it'd be cool.
Gonna work this up. So if you were with us on Saturday, you met Nick as we went through the drums. Nick's a longtime friend, great drummer. We've played in bands together. I've produced bands he's been in that I have not played in. He has a band called Exactly No. Cool band, 2-piece. Nick plays drums. Ted plays guitar, kind of, and bass, and sings. He's got a unique guitar, couple of pickups, and there's 2 output jacks, big super pedal board. He does a lot of really cool things, and he makes a 2-piece sound like a 3 and 4-piece at times. I've made a record and change with them, a record and a half plus a single. I think I'm going to talk to the guys and see which one they want to feature maybe, but we'll pick a track. Not sure which one. There is one that was recorded entirely here. There's also some stuff we recorded at Flowers. We'll figure it out. But maybe we'll go behind the scenes on a little bit of Exactly No. A little bit different, kind of also rock band, but again, 2-piece, just a different style, definitely different than Fuzzrd and from Sam and the other stuff we've done. And then maybe we can have Nick and or Ted pop in on Zoom, hang out with those guys. I like bringing the band in as well. Like I said, we really didn't go any in depth into Pro Tools tonight other than playing the track down or whatever. Fine by me, fun, you know. So yeah, we'll let you know. But that's the tentative plan. Is next Tuesday we'll do Exactly No track to be determined, and hopefully be joined by those guys. We're just kind of hatching this plan now. I've talked to Nick loosely about it, but we'll see if that works out. Otherwise, we'll figure out something else for you to do. But that's the tentative plan. Next Tuesday, as usual. Anything else tonight, boys, before we call her a night? We take the honors, Joe.
I think you find people out there know what to do, but just in case you don't, I will remind you.
Please do.
Keep it tight.